Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another video for ithought Connect. In today's video, we are going to be talking about some of the most commonly asked questions about PMS or direct stock investing. And I'm going to be speaking with someone who has been in this field for almost a decade now and has dealt with investors across all demographies and geographies. Hi, Rashmika. So the first question that I want to ask you is, what is the general mindset of any investor who wants to invest in a PMS for the first time?
Hi, thank you for having me here today. So to answer your question, it's very different because we deal with people today who are first-time investors and have zero knowledge about equity investing. Probably they heard someone say something and they've just come with an open mind. And the second bucket is a bunch of investors who have done things by themselves, got their hands burned probably, and they want something in a more systemic way, and then they reach out to professionals. So in both these cases, the way in which we take forward a conversation is very different. Obviously, both of them have come to a realization that they need professional assistance in managing their wealth. So we speak to them in terms of first understanding what they want, how their goals are, how far are they away from the goals, and how they would like to reach it and how soon it is actually possible. So we try to give them like a reality check in terms of what is realistically possible, what we bring to the table, and also understand what they can do. And we also try to unlock their potential, right? Sometimes somebody could be like playing to their potential much lesser, where they think, okay, maybe this is enough, maybe this is what they need, but actually their saving potential and the way in which they have that whole investing journey ahead of them could be much higher. So that is what we try to speak to them and tell them and see what we can offer.
Connecting to that question, how would you explain PMS to someone who wants to invest in for the first time? Because a lot of investors start their journey with direct stock investing, and like you said, they get their hands burnt and then they look for alternative options. So how would you explain to any investor how they should start their journey in PMS?
So first, I think we try to understand their risk appetite, what they can realistically be able to save, whether they can do it on a consistent framework, how far they are from their goals. So these are all things that we try to understand from that initial conversation. And of course, we need to see whether it actually matches and whether the PMS is a right fit for them, right? For somebody, say if they have like their child's education coming probably in 2-3 years, whether PMS would be a right option, answer is probably not. So there we try to again tell them how they should even first of all approach a PMS investor. I mean, as an investor, how they should approach the PMS route and whether that is going to sit well with their life goals. And then we try to tell them in terms of what we bring to the table, how we go about PMS investing, how usually other PMS providers go about their PMS investing, how risk is managed, how the deployment takes place, what we also expect from them, right? Because I think we all know that investing is not a one-time exercise. So we try to tell them as to what they need to do today, what they need to do on a continuous basis in order to achieve that. So all that education happens with the client even before they even begin investing with us on the PMS. So I think having that full picture and understanding is very important. And obviously we also appreciate if the client is also transparent, right? Sometimes we do understand that, finance and money is a very sensitive topic. But if they are being more transparent and open with their professional help that they are seeking out to the person, it makes it a lot more easier to have a more open conversation and suggest the right things to them.
Now, since you've dealt with a lot of investors in the past from, so many geographies across all demographies, what do you think are some common struggles that they face when they manage their own portfolios versus how we can help them when we manage a PMS?
I think the first thing that comes to my mind to that question is time. I think most people do it as something on the side. They're not very serious about it. It's more like a coffee table conversation that they have with their friends or colleagues, and then they act on their portfolio. There isn't too much of a structure in terms of them managing that portfolio. It's more like a hobby. And also at the end of the day, they have a day job, and the day job does not entail this. So on a day when it is actually an opportunity to invest, they might have something more critical on their table that they need to address. So they are actually missing out on those windows, which are very, very critical in today's scenario. So it makes sense for someone to work with an advisor, primarily because that person is going to be like a coach. So look at it more like, I'm just taking an analogy of fitness, right? You can, of course, go work out by yourself and do something. And today, with all the AI, it's going to give you a workout plan. But somebody needs to hold you accountable. Somebody needs to correct you in those small places and give you that intervention. So that is what, like, even a person who you are seeking out for financial help is going to do. And a lot of people probably don't see value in that. But that is really, really critical from an overall wealth creation and a wealth investing journey standpoint. And one other thing that I've also noticed is a lot of times, even when we are dealing with clients, right, sometimes they are traveling and they're not able to make an investment, or they're not able to have that conversation with us. Or say they are probably dealing with some family crisis or an emergency, and again, the conversation, in spite of having professional help, gets deprioritized. So a lot of time when they have professional help itself, it's not like probably in their topmost priority of to do for the day. So when you do it by yourself, you're giving yourself that relaxation mode where if you're not motivated to act on something on your portfolio today, you're not going to act on it. So having someone who's going to keep nudging you is very important. That is more from a time aspect, but I think the second thing is also emotional bias that comes into play, right? If a person is reasonably well informed and they have a certain conviction, they do some amount of research, keeping all that in mind, a lot of time they might just not make an investment decision and keep postponing it because they have biases that come into play. But when you go for professional help, you will know that that person doesn't have any biases. If it's a buy, it's a buy. If it's a sell, it's a sell. And that's how you need to look at investing. Like, don't try to bring in too much of biases and things that you have. And also those biases might get more confirmed with the people who you're surrounding yourself with. So is all of that worth it in terms of it coming and playing in your wealth creation potential? The answer is probably not. And, to actually look out for some kind of professional help, at least to help you in that journey.
That brings us to the end of the conversation. We hope you've had something to take away about PMS from this. Stay tuned as we dive deeper into some more aspects about building a PMS portfolio.